Hello, everyone. It's us again. Today, we're going to celebrate Ellen's multi-layerism in the book because she's not only like a newfound sportsy person, she also really likes musicals. So let's dive into it. Why did you make her like a musical theater slash glee club kind of girl or kind of person? Sorry.
Thank you. There's like two answers. One answer is like very thoughtful and like, well, I wanted her to be kind of fandom adjacent. And, I didn't want her to be a Harry Potter head more because I was seeing people on my Quidditch teams who weren't that into Harry Potter. And it just seemed realistic for me that she would be like, oh yeah, I kind of know that. I liked it a little, but that's not the thing that I'm passionate about. So I liked her having like a nerdy fandom thing that she was really into. I also had I think just the throwaway line about choir that I really wanted to include. And so I thought it would be fun. Those are all true, but like deep in my heart, the reason that she's a musical nerd is because I'm a musical nerd and I enjoyed not having to censor out all of my ridiculous musical theater references when I was writing this book.
I mean, yes, I really enjoyed it. I really like this new pattern I'm noticing in YA books where a character is not just the one thing that we used to see in like early 2000s high school movies where it's like the jock is the jock and he's not allowed to like anybody else. I guess Troy Bolton was the one who pioneered that like you can like both things.
The blueprint.
Exactly. And he's a great blueprint. I love that guy so much.
Musical's good.
I really do appreciate the honesty of like, oh, this is why Ellen is a musical kid. So my first most important question is, what does Ellen think about jukebox musicals?
Much like myself, Ellen is not me. I just want to put that out there. But for the purposes of this chat, there's going to be a lot of overlap because Ellen's opinions about musicals are going to be closely related to mine. So I think Ellen, like me, probably appreciates jukebox musicals because they allow her to expand her taste or pass as a normal person who listens to normal music.
Yeah.
I mean, not always. Sometimes you just get a lot of ABBA and you're like, I know ABBA, and everyone's like, that's not cool. But but I do think that, anytime that you're taking music from the radio and putting it into a musical, it's like breaking it down, bite-sizing it for me and Ellen. Also, it gives it a narrative, which I always appreciate. Like, I already listen to music mostly for the lyrics, which I know is not an everyone thing, but it's definitely kind of like how I fall in love with songs. And so when there's not just the lyrics, but also like the wider context of the whole story, and you get that much more emotional depth to everything, I just appreciate the song more.
Oh.
I felt that a lot about there's been a couple Beatles musicals now, but Across the Universe. Yeah. I think it adds layers of like that, the songs that, especially Beatles songs, that the lyrics kind of seem sort of random or silly in some places. It was cool. It was cool for me. It was like Easter eggs to see how they were able to make it like, oh, that lyric actually makes sense now. Like that is, and they did that sometimes with visuals. So there's a song where they're like, I want you so bad. And then it like switches and they sing something totally different. And then it switches again and they sing She's So Heavy. And like all of those things seem random. In the film, they chose to make that a song about like being drafted into the military. So like I Want You became something, and then She's So Heavy, it was the character and all of the other sort of soldiers he had been drafted with carrying the Statue of Liberty like on their backs, and it was like not complimentary at all, which I appreciate. And that movie had certainly many problems. It was early 2000s. It wasn't like paragon of anti-imperialism, but I just thought that was a cool, like, those lyrics that I would have never thought made sense together, they, through their visuals and their like what they were telling in the story, they became this very unified story of being drafted in Vietnam. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. That's one good thing you can get from Jukebox Musical. I also used to really like playing Guitar Hero because, again, I would like play Guitar Hero, learn the songs, and then out in the world when they played, I'd be like, oh, I know this song because I'm cool. I listen to cool music.
No, I know what you mean. So from 2010 to like 2015-ish, I would only ever listen to One Direction. I don't know what happened in 2012 and 2015 besides One Direction. So I know what you mean with jukebox musicals helping the people, the theater people.
Diversify a little, because there's so much good music out there, and like I think I'm finally starting to get there. partially because I live with someone who plays a lot of music now. And I'm just like, what is this? What is this? What's this? I'm Jack Skellington over here, like, whoa.
Musical references, yay.
Yeah.
So would Ellen like the 2021 movie musicals?
So I was trying to remember what those were. I think yes, pretty much is my first answer.
It's
Tick tock, tick tick boom, tick
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 Tick Boom.
boom.
Yeah. I think she would
I
like
mean,
that
I
one.
think she would like that. She's really into Rent, so I feel like Tick Tick Boom would have been a big one for her. I feel like she would
Yeah.
have been like,
There was also Dear Evan Hansen, which was like,
oh, which I didn't see. I think we talked about this last time. Dear Evan Hansen, like, I actually like as a show, but I don't think is necessarily the type of show that would translate well. I also didn't understand why they wrote a YA novel about it. I
it
also
doesn't. It
like,
doesn't make narratives. I mean, I guess narrative sense, sure, but it's too constricted visually for film. So I forgot that they removed the mom song. So I was like, okay, oh, you're right. That was a terrible idea, but let's keep going.
like the opening song.
Yeah. Instead, that one doesn't open the movie. It's waving through a window.
No,
And
gross.
I
Why?
know, I hate it. I'm like, what? Justice for the moms. And then in Waving Through a Window, what I loved about the show was that it was choreographed. But in the movie, everybody's just like walking. And it was just like, what are you doing, Stephen Chbosky? Like, I had to rewatch The Perks of Being a Wallflower to remind myself that he's good. Like, because it was like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
I
But
thought,
yeah.
I know it's not a 2021 musical, but I thought that In the Heights, I think we may have had a different opinion on this, but I thought In the Heights did a good job of that, like
Yeah,
capturing some
it
of the
translates
choreography.
well on film. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and they were able to make that pool scene really feel like it was cool dancing and it was a film, not a musical. Like, it was, I thought they did a good job. On the
No, In the
opposite
Heights,
end,
it premiered in 2021. It was like the
did it?
summer.
Good.
Time
So
is
then, yeah.
not
So In
not
the
a
Heights, I feel like
yeah.
Ellen would have loved In the Heights. Oh, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Les Mis, which I know is not a 2021 musical, movie musical. I felt like they did missed opportunities with like translating to film. They just kind of tried to make it a play that had a camera, and I'm like, we have that. We have the Les Mis in concert so many times. Like
Yeah.
every 5 years, we get a new one. You had a film, you could have done flashbacks, you could have done so much, and you just chose to
Oh
like zoom
yeah.
in on someone's face. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
It was the first musical that I was in sixth grade, so it's
Oh.
place in my heart.
Oh, that's cute though. That's sweet. Everybody's talking about Jamie premiered.
Oh, I
I
didn't
don't know
see
if
it.
you've seen
I
it.
didn't even hear about it. I think. Let me
Oh,
let me Google.
you should. It became my personality for a minute there. I really liked it, and I think Ellen would like it too.
Yeah, I had no idea this existed, and it sounds amazing. I'm excited to now check it out.
So those are the
That's cool.
movie musicals, I think. Because
Yeah.
then we had like recordings of Come From Away and Diana.
So I mean, I think in general,
Mhm.
Ellen would be mostly a fan. Maybe would take some pot shots at Dear Evan Hansen on Twitter because it's right for it. I think that she would be excited that there are so many like available and so many
Yeah.
movie musicals because it's more accessible than theater, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I really do love the movie musical
Yeah.
resurgence. I hope we get a lot of them.
We're eventually getting
Um
Wicked, right? Right? Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
we are getting Wicked. Is that next year? Like,
I
is
can't
that
remember.
supposed to
I feel
happen?
like they've been talking about it since I was in high school, and I'm just like, please. But I think Wicked's more accessible to like typical film audiences.
Yeah.
We may have talked about this last time, how like people don't go
Yeah.
to theaters with the same expectations, to live theaters with the same expectations that they go to movie theaters. And sometimes that can mess up the translation. You go
Mhm.
to live theater to see somebody have like the absolute most extreme emotions of their life because you're sitting far away and you want to see that. Some of that doesn't translate super well, and some of it in film you're expecting certain like beats and not necessarily like a happy ending, but a certain like story structure and a certain type of hero. And I do think that Wicked fits that, like what a film audience would be expecting better.
So what is Ellen's dream role, if she has a dream role?
The thing is that she's kind of shy, so like I kind of think she would enjoy doing something like Maureen. I think she would enjoy that because it's so different, and that's like who she wants to be, or something that she would like aspire to be. Is that more
Mhm.
like more real activism, like standing
Oh,
out and
yeah, yeah,
being
yeah.
so, it's not who she is, but I do think it's a role that she would really enjoy. And also it's not like the star of the show, and I think that like
Yeah, that helps.
playing Elphaba in Wicked might be a little much for Ellen. having like a super solid side character that like everyone loves, and you have two good songs and the rest of the time some other people can get the spotlight. I think that would be perfect.
Oh, I like that. Did she ever get a solo?
I feel like maybe she may have gotten this. She probably, okay, here's what happened. Total headcanon. She probably got like little like one line solos in the middle of songs. And then like for her senior showcase, probably had to pick like one song. Now, what song is that? That's the question. The more I think about it, the more I like it. I think that she sang for her senior showcase, she sang Go the Distance from Hercules.
Ooh, I love that
Uh,
song. And this is the question of all questions. So you mentioned how you wanted like an Ella Enchanted-esque adaptation.
yeah.
So what artists and songs do you think would fit the This Is How We Fly jukebox musical?
So, okay, I don't know if this is a thing, but I was thinking that since Ellen is such a musical theater nerd, it would be really fun to take songs from musical theater and put them into a
Yes,
jukebox musical.
I like that a lot.
But I think we would definitely have to get the time warp in there, maybe for like the
Ooh.
Quidditch scene, right? Like, you know, you're standing along the field and like jump to the left, step to the right, and yeah, put your hand on your broom. Uh,
I would love that. That's
I honestly, I
amazing.
want to write it now. I think they watched Mulan, and I think Reflection is a just a perfect song for everything that Ellen is. Probably America from Rent, like living in America. I can't remember what it's actually titled. Yeah, I think it would be fun to put together a musical jukebox musical.
I like that, and the vibe really fits. Now, on to It Sounds Like This. Does Jasmine like musicals?
I think that Yasmin likes musicals in the way that my brother likes well, maybe both my brothers, but at least my older brother. He's had to suffer through a lot of me singing musicals aggressively at him. As a result, he kind of likes them. He just didn't have a choice. I think Yasmin is like, look, they were the soundtrack of my life. I know them. I'll sing along with them. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily what she puts on when she's like looking for comfort music or for like when she's looking to listen to music, but she definitely knows them. She's not going to pass up a chance to like karaoke some Disney songs.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that answer because that's like my sister as well. Like, would Yasmin ever play in like the musical orchestra?
Yeah, I think so. She's very much not a theater kid, but I think that that would be a fun thing, like a fun after school thing if she wasn't so busy with marching band. So maybe, you know, spring season would think it was fun and like kind of a little bit of a spectacle to be like, oh, these theater kids, what a weird group they are.
Does she have a favorite musical?
I mean, right this exact moment, I'm like, oh, Encanto, obviously. But I feel like the underrated Isabella song would be a good Yasmin song. Although, also, she's a big Olivia Rodrigo fan, so maybe I haven't seen it, but maybe she would be into High School
High School
Musical, the musical, the
Musical?
show.
Yes. Now
Exciting
we
day.
talked about your characters. Now we can talk about each other. Um,
Yay.
so when did you start liking musicals and like theater and stuff?
Well, I grew up like my mom was very into like The Sound of Music, the original West Side Story, and Disney movies, of course. So I grew up with like that kind of musical love. But I didn't like necessarily translate that to like I love musical theater until sixth grade. I actually meant to join band, had a little schedule goof, and decided to just stay in drama so that I could keep my other classes the same. And turned out to really like drama. And I did my first musical, like school musical, and it was Les Mis. And I got a solo, and my best friend got a solo. We were like little Gavroche and little Cosette. I guess Gavroche is always little, but you know, like we were like the two little kids in the production. So we were just like having a really fun time. And like, you know, middle schoolers doing Les Mis, we had to cut a lot of songs. We had like a little weird narrator who would pop up and be like, then Fantine got into some trouble that I'm not allowed to talk about. Like it was kind of ridiculous. Nobody could sing well enough. Like it was not not a great show, but we had so much fun. I really like fell in love with with musical theater. It didn't hurt that I like got to, you know, I got to feel special because I had a solo. I was just like, this is the best thing ever. And I got completely into Les Mis. Like I didn't listen to anything else for probably a full year. You know, it was middle school. We were folding paper frogs, jumping them around our desks as the actors, like jumping Javert off of the side of the desk. Like we
Oh
were
my God, that sounds
it
amazing.
was really fun. I had a good time. So that was kind of like the pinnacle of like my my musical theater experience. What about you?
I always grew up with Disney. So when I was in third grade, we watched Pinocchio because my jazz teacher, my dance teacher was in it. She was part of the ensemble. And I watched it and I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. Why can't I do that? And my mom was like, no, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna do the thing. There's no way you'll be an actress. Absolutely not.
You just reminded me of, this is kind of depressing, but also there's a happy ending. I remember in middle school, I went to see a show and I was in a show like at the same time. And I just remember looking at all the adults who were in the theater. And I just got this horrible, like, I don't want to be someone who just sits in the audience of the shows. I want to be someone who's always in the shows. And like, obviously haven't quite made that happen. However, I also remember that at the exact same time that I thought that, I thought, and same with books. I don't want to just be someone who reads books for my whole life. I want to be someone who makes books. And so, I
It
kind of
worked
had to
out.
choose. Yeah, at some point I had to choose. Maybe I'll get into community theater and I'll change that and I'll have a happy ending to the theater one too. But also I've gotten to a point where I don't mind being in the audience. I like it.
Yeah.
So I do remember just feeling very like, I don't want this to end. I want to always be part of theater.
What was the first musical that you saw live?
I honestly don't remember. I know that in middle school when I got excited, I went with my friends who were also in the show to see Phantom of the Opera. That was super fun. I feel like every time I see it, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, it's not my favorite musical, but it like has a special place in my heart.
I think the first one I saw live, I think it was either Grease or Fiddler on the Roof. The last one we went to see was The Last 5 Years,
Yeah,
which
I've never
I
seen it on stage. Wait,
love that
No, I
show.
haven't.
You haven't?
No, I've listened to the soundtrack a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw the movie, and like
The
fairly
movie
good
is great.
adaptation.
The
Yeah,
movie is great. It was
New York.
just the most fun thing. And I was crying a lot because that's like
It's
my favorite musical ever.
really
And it
good.
was a tiny, tiny theater. The music for Still Hurting started, and I was like, oh my God. And then immediately after that was She's a Goddess. And I was like, oh my God. I was just crying my way through the musical. Oh, what's your favorite musical song to sing in the shower?
I mean, it changes so much. Like, I feel like it's anything that I'm like currently listening to that's really emotional. So, like right now, it's Dos Oruguitas or Surface Pressure.
Oh, yeah. What musical has made you cry?
Well,
Encanto?
Encanto. No,
Yeah.
I cry at Dos Oruguitas every time. Oruguitas. I can't say that word. Lots of musicals make me cry. I'm very emotional, but I think that just an uncommon one that succeeds almost every time is the act 2 of Into the Woods. It's the one
Okay.
that they cut from the movie and I was so upset. It's the one with his dad. It's the baker and his dad singing, and I think it's called No More Questions, or maybe that's just the first line. I'm bad at titles. But anyway, it's the one where he's saying like basically like I'm tired of doing quests. I'm tired of trying to figure everything out. I don't want to do this anymore, and he's considering like running out on his child, which is basically what his dad did because he couldn't handle all the problems he'd caused. And it's like a very quiet song. It's not everyone's favorite. They cut it from the
From the movie,
movie,
yeah.
but like it makes me cry a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one. In the Heights gets me with Breathe. That one gets me.
Yeah,
Ooh, the prom really, really twist the knife with Unruly Heart. God,
I
I
really need to.
love that song. You should listen to that song. It's
Definitely.
about being queer.
I don't know if we skipped over your shower song or were you just saying also Encanto?
Oh,
Encanto?
oh, I love, love, love singing 96,000 in the shower. I do love
That's a good
it.
one.
What musical made you laugh?
So many also. Single song. I don't like this whole show actually, but I saw George Salazar, I think. So him doing Michael in the bathroom. I saw it like I think again for like an award show just by itself, and it made me think I was gonna like the show, and the show was a disappointment, or at least the soundtrack was a disappointment. I like didn't even finish it. I was just like, whatever, don't care. Only want this song. Um, it's just so good. It was just like funny and like I just
It's
really liked it.
awkward, it's funny, it's really
Yeah.
good. I like that song too. Mine would be Something Rotten makes me laugh a lot. Ooh, also Anything Goes. I love that show. I don't know why. What musicals would you love to see live?
Okay, two that I have just missed out on is the Deaf West Spring Awakening.
Oh, yeah.
And then another one that I missed, and this one was sad because Ariel my husband now, lived in LA. I was going to see him like every month until I broke my pelvis and I couldn't get on a plane. And that's when they decided to have the George Salazar and MJ Rodriguez Little Shop of Horrors. I broke my pelvis like September 20 somethingth, and it only ran from like September 19th to like end of September. Like I couldn't, it wasn't in the cards for me. I was so mad. I was so mad. Other musicals that I would just like to see. Well, I would like to see Last 5 Years because I have never seen it live.
For me, it would be Billy Elliot. And I also, it wasn't a musical, but it was the play version of Dead Poets Society. What is your all-time favorite musical?
This is hard. I think it might have to be Les Mis for all those reasons that I already told you. Like it just, like nothing is ever gonna quite match that level of. Wicked is a really close possible second. Into the Woods is a really close possible second. Into the Woods has my favorite line in a musical. Careful the tale you tell, that is the spell, children will listen. But I think it's got to be Les Mis. What about you?
I think it's Fiddler on the Roof. I love it. And I also love why it's called The Fiddler on the Roof. I love that lyric of like, without tradition, we would be as shaky as a fiddler on the roof. That one and The Last 5 Years, it rips me apart every time. So finally, Cats the movie, yay or nay?
Cats 2019, enthusiastic yay.
It's weird and I love it.
I love it so much. It's so weird. It makes no sense. Why do they eat the cockroach people? I think
my God. Also, Jason Derulo, they were like really selling that this is the hot cat. I believe
also McCavity.
I believed it. I do believe that Jason Derulo and Idris Elba are the hot cats.
Also, the Railway Cat.
Yeah.
They weren't selling him as the hot cat. He was the hot cat somehow. The tap dancing.
Yeah, he definitely was. I recommend West Side Story. Don't love the musical, but the cinematography, exquisite. The singing, incredible. The dancing, exceptional.
I really want to see it. It's on my list.
Yeah, you should. And you should tell me what you think of it. We talked about the tomboy turned trans.
Oh yeah, Anybody's. Yeah, we didn't talk about it this time, but it's, that character meant a lot to me in the 1960s production. I understand why they would want to like solidify the representation, but I also can see how that would cause problems in the way that character is treated. Whereas like in the 1960s show, it was not super serious, or that character didn't have words to like change their pronouns or whatever. We need both. We definitely need like explicit representation that can't be overlooked, because some people will overlook it and will try to like bury it. But I do think that there's something kind of cathartic, especially if you're, maybe in an unfriendly environment, or if you yourself are not fully come to terms with everything, or then there's something nice about the sort of understated, like unlabeled representation. And it can be really meaningful.
Which is why you should read This Is How We Fly. I really love this book. I love that Ellen loves musicals and sports. She's an amazing character. You're an amazing writer, and I love doing this with you.
This was really fun. Thanks so much for having me again.
Thank you so much for joining me again to chat about musicals and Ellen and a little bit of It Sounds Like This. I hope everybody else enjoyed the chat. Let us know down below, what are some of your favorite musicals? If you loved the 2021 musicals, if you didn't.
Your opinion on Cats.
Yeah, your opinion on Cats, very important. Yeah,
the correct answer is this.
And if you haven't already and you'd like to, go ahead and hit subscribe, and we'll see you for It Sounds Like This. Bye.
Thank you.